Ladies and gentlemen, for every We're So Back, there is another It's So Over waiting in the shadows nearby, lurking, ready to jump out at any moment, and it has jumped out at us today. We will be talking about the devastating Dragon Ball Super news, but also talking about the amazing Dragon Ball Legends information that really shakes up the game forever, and this Sparking Zero DLC SHALLOT news that has some people mixed, but it is still pretty exciting. First, let's get into the Dragon Ball Super news, and whenever I say it is devastating, I mean it is absolutely devastating. So if you have been keeping up lately, we've gotten some news that Totaro will be at events in July with Torishima. He'll also be at the Jump Victory Carnival thing doing some signing. So it did look like Totaro is going to be busy in July, and there still could be some exciting news coming up in July, but they previously teased on the Dragon Ball News Weekly video after showcasing this beautiful art by Totaro that they had a special project to announce in the V-Jump issue. Everybody was pretty excited. A lot of people, myself included, was connecting all the dots. We were thinking, oh my goodness, is it finally time for the Dragon Ball Super manga to return? Because, you know, it's been a while, everybody is missing it, and then all of a sudden, they said, oh, we have a project to announce, and it was all connecting. Everything was starting to come together. Totaro making appearances in July. If they announced this in this June issue, they could probably release it in July, things like that, but that does not appear to be the case. So if you look here, according to DBS Hype, who has the inside scoop on all things V-Jump leaks, he says the Ultra Instinct Goku X Beast Gohan illustration by Totaro will be turned into a figurine. This is the official announcement of the certain project that was teased earlier. The Dragon Ball Super manga will remain on hiatus for now. So, when I tell you everybody was disappointed when we found this out, I exactly mean that. It was extremely disappointing. I don't know how else to put it. This is something that a lot of fans, myself included, are getting very tired of. We felt like it was finally time. The teasing was there. Everything was starting to line up. And then it just was like, hey, it's a figurine. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're into figurines, this is pretty cool for you. It's apparently like a sequel to the Goku and Bardock one that Totaro designed. And they did 2 figures based off that years ago. And I really like this one. You know, they got 3 hands together just like in the original Dragon Ball Z manga/anime. It all makes sense. It all looks cool. It's exciting for people that like it, but for those of us who thought they were very clearly teasing the Dragon Ball Super manga returning, it just leaves us wondering. Now, with that being said, like I said, there is still the potential for us to get news next month in July because Totaro will be appearing on a panel with Torishima to talk about Dragon Ball Super. Now, what would Totaro be talking about on that panel if there's nothing to announce or nothing to, expect? Do you know what I'm saying? So either they're going to talk about their work so far and how Totaro has worked with Toriyama and how Torishima has worked with Toriyama, or they're going to talk about the potential in the future, things like that. With it being a panel and they're probably going to be talking about everything, I could see Totaro maybe touching on the future of Super, maybe talking about how he's excited to return, but I don't expect that we're going to get anything official in the terms of, hey, Dragon Ball Super will return at this date. I just don't think that's in the cards for a Comic-Con type event because it is just like a Japan Expo thing going on in, I think it was Italy or Paris. I think it was Paris. But anyway, point is, I don't expect anything major to happen there. Maybe some new news. Maybe Totaro will drop some bombshells that we can, really divulge, break apart, really dive into. That's the word I'm looking for. And really discuss in terms of, Totaro was cooking. What, kind of like how he did the Super Saiyan Blue evolution thing and he kind of dispelled some rumors that people had. But I don't expect it to be anything crazy in terms of, the Dragon Ball Super manga is returning on this date. I just don't think that's in the cards. Alright, and getting into the rather exciting news that nobody saw coming, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero has a surprise extra DLC character in the form of SHALLOT. Of course, voiced by everybody's favorite Kagi Films, Alejandro Saab, I think is his name. But yeah, this is pretty much a collaboration with Dragon Ball Legends. Of course, during their 7th anniversary, they're going all out. And I like how this trailer did a lot of references to the story. So, of course, I haven't played through the Dragon Ball Legends story completely. But I know in the Dragon Ball Legends story, Nappa trained with SHALLOT. So as you can see here, Nappa's fighting SHALLOT, and SHALLOT's kind of commentating with him or conversing with him. Of course, you got Captain Ginyu and things like that. Now, some people are complaining that Shallot is actually reusing attacks from other characters, but that's kind of Shallot's whole thing, is he has his wild cannon attack, but then he also reuses attacks from other characters across Dragon Ball and the Dragon Ball Legends game. I don't think that's exactly lazy on their part. I think it's just canon. You know what I'm saying? I think whenever they were designing his moveset for Sparking Zero, they were just worrying about sticking to the games. And Shallot does have a large moveset. It just reuses a lot of other people's moves. Now, one thing that people were complaining about is that he doesn't have his Super Saiyan forms or his Super Saiyan God form or Super Saiyan Blue. So I understand the disappointment there, but nothing too crazy. Now, he is, again, an extra character as part of the Season Pass, so this is pretty cool. So if you bought the Season Pass and you felt like your money was getting wasted a little bit, you at least get one character. Again, I understand the disappointment that he doesn't have Super Saiyan God or Super Saiyan Blue, but I'm the kind of guy where I just kind of say it is what it is. Alright, final bit of news we'll be talking about today is the very exciting Dragon Ball Legends information. Let's just go ahead and jump into it. We finally have ground battles, which is exactly not something people were expecting. So of course, with ground battle comes a lot of new mechanics, so it does appear that you will be able to go from the ground to the air in battle. Again, like it says here, just tap on it. Now, I did see some complaints that this isn't going to be for every map, but I do think that they must have put a lot of work into this because it is going to be for a lot of maps. So that's pretty exciting. Now, one thing I want to touch on is the fact that they are not only adding grounded combat, they're actually adding different effects for the combat on the ground, and they're also adding overdrive mode. So it says here, feel the special gauge to activate overdrive mode, enter a temporary powered up state. When activated, use arts without consuming ki and take reduced damage, unleash a powerful overdrive attack. So this is interesting. This is like a new mechanic they're just throwing in here for the heck of it. Like, okay, thank you. That's pretty cool. So it says here, pick either midair combo or surface combo 3 times to decide your combo route. Each option will receive a random bonus effect, either a damage boost or health recovery. When attacking, the bonus effect will activate if you pick a different combo than your opponent. When defending, you can cancel the bonus effect if you pick the same combo as your opponent. So, again, new mechanic. A lot of layers to it, as you can see. I think after we get used to it, it will kind of just become natural. And you also have your overdrive attack here, so pretty cool, I guess. It's kind of similar to, you know, just whenever you're using your rush attack or whatever. So, again, exciting stuff. Dragon Ball Legends is absolutely cooking for their 7th year anniversary. Again, they're also adding overcharging. Activate by charging keep for a set amount of time. Not only can you build overdrive gauge, but you can also recover the vanishing gauge. So this is kind of similar to, actually it's very, like basically the same way that Sparking Zero does their whole overdrive similar mechanic. It's not called overdrive in Sparking Zero, but you know what I'm saying. Like you charge up and then you charge up long enough and you enter that new state. Pretty cool. I definitely enjoy it. A charge attack, there you go. Activate by swiping toward your opponent while overcharging. You can combo into arts after landing a charge attack. And then again, they're just going over the low areas and the high areas, right? New battle systems too. So yeah, they're just showing them off here. Pretty exciting. They're excited about it. We're excited about it. And they're just giving you a better look here. Boom, you're up in the sky now. All you got to do is, you know, push forward and tap, and then boom, you're up in the sky. I do think that it's kind of unnecessary at this point to add something like this that basically changes the game almost permanently. I think that this is literally a permanent change to the game. It's like changing the game forever. I think it's cool. I did see, like I said, some people are disappointed that it's called grounded combat and you're not actually on the ground. Like you're still levitating above the ground. I understand, like, could you imagine like all this work that they're putting in now, and then they would have to put in a whole lot more work to give everybody kind of different animations for running around on the ground. But again, DBZ Kakarot also had this thing where there wasn't grounded combat until they did the OG Dragon Ball DLC, and now they added grounded combat for the End of Z DLC and things like that. So I think it could be worth the effort for them to do that. But at this point, I think they're just probably taking things slow. And so they said there would be like 3 big surprises they were working on, and this is just one of them, which is the grounded combat. The first one was the new UI. And yeah, so I think through here they also announced some new characters coming to the game. We had Nappa, I think. Yeah, Nappa with the Cybermen. So they're going to be a character. I think it's a sparking rarity. And then they had Chaozu and Tien. So that's pretty cool. You got Tien and Chaozu there as another sparking character. And then, of course, you have your Legends Limited characters, Goku and Vegeta. So that is pretty cool. Exciting stuff. I'm personally excited for it, but I think some other people aren't. I guess I understand, because you're kind of going from UI Goku and Super Saiyan Blue Evolved or Evolution Vegeta. And then the second part of the 7th anniversary is Vegeta and Goku. But it is the Saiyan saga, so they're kind of like, here's the latest saga from the Super anime for the first part, and then the earliest part of the Dragon Ball Z saga for the second part, which is cool. So maybe the third part that they talked about doing, and again, that's just me recollecting. I don't know if they're actually going to do a third part and have some more characters or what. Like, that's not me outright confirming it, but I think there's just, talk about that. But anyway, I could see some, like, maybe since they're doing the beginning of Z and the end of Super, maybe they could do something for original Dragon Ball. But I think they just did that with Kid Goku and King Piccolo, so nothing crazy. So if you guys want to look into all this other stuff, I'll leave the link to this whole thing in the description. I just want to go ahead and touch on how they're, like, literally changing up the entire game for some reason. And they're also, this is the 7th anniversary, so they're basically giving away a lot of Chrono Crystals. Make sure you guys keep up with that. And yeah, and then they announced SHALLOT, which we already went over. So pretty exciting stuff for Dragon Ball Legends and Sparking Zero, and some very unfortunate Dragon Ball Super news. So if you guys like this rant style video, I had to do it because I was basically, to summarize, basically running late, and I had to get this video out, and it's going to be a busy day for me, so I figured I would just do more of a ranty style video like I did in the previous video. But no worries, guys, the edited videos aren't going anywhere. Those are going to be returning shortly, but just for now, just for this one, I figured I'd just do a rant style video to kind of get everything out there. But it was fun. I like to do these at times, not every time, but at times I think they do have their uses. Anyways, guys, that will be it for this video. If you enjoyed, make sure you leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to keep up to date with all things Dragon Ball news and commentary, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace off.